Hi, everybody. This is Kathy and Chris, my sidekick. We came up with this idea to talk about um, Chris's presentations. He has several. How many?
Well, about 12,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems that we have had a lot of adventures in
Yes.
making them.
So we wanted to share those, and we had a conversation about which presentation we would start with, and we decided on Bonnie and Clyde.
Hmm.
So we're gonna make a series out of this because a lot of interesting things happened to us
Yeah.
while we were putting
Uh,
together the presentations. I am the photographer for Chris's business, Daily History
hmm
LLC, and
And also the book,
oh
right?
yes, in his book, he wrote a book,
Hmm.
Murder and Mayhem in Boston,
Yep.
and I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud that you wrote a book.
You did great
It's really good.
photography on that.
Thank you. So let's go on with the story. The first place we went to was not Memphis.
Yeah,
Yes, it was. It
yeah,
was Memphis. I got Memphis and
yeah.
Nashville mixed up.
We ended up
I do
in
that.
Memphis. That's the most interesting place. We stopped at other places on the way,
We
but
did, but the
Memphis.
reason to not get ahead of myself, the whole reason for the presentation, I
Hmm.
mean, the
Yeah,
presentation idea was not Bonnie and Clyde. It was for Chris JFK.
yeah. I was making a lecture on the Kennedy assassination, and we just decided
Hmm.
also to kind of kill two birds with one
Hmm.
stone
Hmm.
and go see all the Bonnie and Clyde sites because
Which
they're
was a great
down near
idea.
Dallas and
And
Louisiana.
the reason for the JFK lecture was because it
It was
was
the 50th anniversary. That's how
of the
long ago we did
assassination.
this. Yeah,
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 it was 2013.
yeah,
But the stories are great, so hold
yeah.
on to your seat.
Yeah, we didn't have a YouTube channel back then,
No,
so
we didn't.
yeah.
We told these stories to our friends and family, and they're
Mm,
like, "Your adventures are so great."
mm. So,
So here we are sharing them, and we what the heck, right?
hmm
So we'll start with Memphis. What
yeah.
did we do there?
Well, we came into Memphis. Remember the hotel we were staying at?
Oh my God, this is one of the things right there. I heard this loud noise, like rumbling, and I looked outside and I go, is that a jet?
Mm.
And we didn't know we had a hotel
Right
right next to
next
the
to the
airport.
airport, right
And that
near.
it was low.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So,
love planes, so I liked it, but
and
yeah,
people in Memphis drive like nuts.
yeah, a little nutty.
Kind of like Miami.
Miami,
Anyway,
that's another story.
we ended up going over to Graceland.
Yes, we went into Graceland. It was very
Nostalgic. Yeah,
nostalgic.
yeah,
I have trouble
yeah.
with that word. Excuse me. And shag rug, the whole works. You know, if you've been inside of Graceland,
Yeah,
I'm sure you have. Have you seen photos? It's
yeah.
exactly what it looks like, and it's exactly the feeling.
Somebody has an obsession with Elvis too.
Yes, yes, I do, and
Mm.
so do you. He
Well,
tries. Who are you kidding? This one walks around talking like Elvis. Anyway, yeah, and he does a good job of it too. I don't know if he wants to give you an
who
example.
doesn't
Yeah,
really?
but yours is pretty
Everybody
amazing.
loves Elvis.
Okay,
You
we've
know?
been following Elvis here in Florida too, so
Yeah.
that's another story.
Right.
And if
Yeah.
you follow
Follow
my
the channel. We've already
channel, yeah,
hit
we've
up some
gone to
places.
places where Elvis has hung out here in
Yeah.
Florida. He's an exciting person,
Mm.
and yeah, I loved him. I'm attached to him basically because my mom, who recently passed away. If
Mm.
you've watched my other videos, you know that, and it was in November, so it's fairly new. And um, she'd wake me up, Kathy, Elvis is on, because she just wanted me to love him as much
Mm.
as she did, and
Mm.
I do. And who don't love Elvis, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting carried away here. We went through the museum,
We went through Graceland
Graceland, which is
and
a
the museum.
museum
There's a museum
out back.
too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it had his clothes,
Yeah.
like his
His
army, the
jumpsuits. Yeah. And his
jumpsuits,
his army uniform.
and his wedding outfit he
Yeah.
wore when he married
Right.
Priscilla.
Right.
It was so nice to see. And meanwhile, they had all these big video screens playing his
Mhm.
concerts,
Mhm.
and we get to pay our respects to him because we got to see
His
his
grave is there.
burial
Yeah.
along with his
Mm.
mom and
Yeah.
his brother that died at birth.
Mm. Yeah.
Did you know Elvis had a twin?
Right.
Wow, right? Could you
Yeah.
imagine what the world would have been like with two Elvises?
Right.
Right?
Yeah. What do you think about the house?
The house is really small for it being the
Mm.
big person Elvis was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared
What'd
to
you
some
think?
of the mansions today. Yeah, it looked like it was like the size of a McMansion today.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I guess back then
It's
it was big.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
The plane.
they had like a 727 in the back of the
They
museum.
did.
The Lisa Marie, his
Hmm.
jet that he flew around in,
Hmm.
and that was quite
Oh,
interesting.
and also when we first got there, remember when we went first? We saw the plane Lisa Marie
Right,
because the museum wasn't open yet because we got there
right,
late at night,
right.
and I just needed to see Graceland, so we went
Hmm.
over there and what did we see
The
on the
gate
walls?
on the
The
walls.
graffiti.
Yeah, the gate was covered. The brickwork on the
Hmm.
gate was covered in graffiti. That
Sad,
I
so
don't know.
sad.
That kind of turned me
Yeah,
off.
I'm like, could you repair that? I don't know if they
Yeah,
have since
yeah.
this was a long time since we've been there.
Maybe they've taken it off. I don't know.
But it was a great adventure,
Yeah.
and then we went over to Sun City Studios.
So yeah, we went to see where he recorded his first records.
Do
Then
you know what it was, the first record? Because I don't.
um, I think it was "That's All Right, Mama."
Oh, was it?
I'm not sure.
Right, Mama,
I think the mythology is that he went down and recorded a song for his mother, and that's how he was
Aw,
discovered. I'm not
aw.
sure if that's true,
I get her love for him because I feel that way about my boys.
but
I have a daughter too.
we also went to a restaurant in Memphis, and
Oh my
we
God!
had to go there because
I needed to try the peanut butter and banana grilled sandwich. That was really good.
Elvis's favorite meal.
Now you can't go to Memphis and not try Elvis's
Hmm.
favorite sandwich.
Yeah. So,
And so I did, and it was all right. It was good. I
yeah,
liked
we
it.
had a good time in
Yeah,
Memphis,
we
and
did.
then we drove through Arkansas.
Hmm.
I guess
The speed highway.
right. Yeah, they don't have a speed limit on one of those highways. That was
It was
kind of weird.
scary on that highway.
And ended up in Arcadia, Louisiana. We spent
Hmm.
the night, a couple nights there,
Hmm.
because that's, I guess, one of the first spots
Now
that
this
has
is where
to do
you
with
come in because I'm not too familiar with
all the
the whole
story.
stories of Bonnie
Yeah,
and Clyde. He does the whole presentation on
right.
Bonnie and Clyde. I was taking the pictures because I'm the
Hmm.
photographer.
Right.
He knew the areas, so he's going to tell you about
Yeah,
what
and this is
Arcadia
over
was
a
about.
decade ago, so I don't expect you to remember all of it. We stayed in Arcadia, Louisiana, which is where they ended up bringing Bonnie and Clyde's body after they were ambushed. Then we went down to Gippsland, where the location is where, outside of Gippsland, is where they were actually ambushed. And we went to the site where they got
And
shot.
at that time, we had a convertible, and
Yeah,
Chris had this great idea. The road doesn't look much different than it did back then.
it's paved.
It's just
It
paved.
was dirt back
And so
then,
he took
yeah.
his phone and we had the convertible back and he has the phone out the
Yeah,
window and
yeah.
videotaped all the way up to
Right.
where they were ambushed.
What kind of like what Clyde would have,
Mhm.
the last thing he would have
He
seen
would have
going down
seen,
that
yeah.
road. And we approached the site of the ambush, which there's a memorial out there, and
Mhm.
um,
With bullet holes on
that
it.
was loaded with bullet
Yes.
holes from people just
God,
doing
it was
drive-bys.
scary there. It was
Yeah,
so
not
scary.
from the ambush, no, of
No,
course.
no.
And I shot a little video out there trying to describe what
But
happened.
while you were shooting the video, I was like, can we get out of here? Because
Mm.
I felt after I walked, I don't know if it was you that walked around the wood line or we both did.
Yeah.
But there was
Felt
dog
like
food.
You're being watched. Out there.
Yes.
That's what I felt.
But who left the dog food? We were miles and miles away from any homes,
Right.
any businesses, any towns. Even the town down the road was.
Right. Yeah. Gippsland was pretty
small.
far away. Yeah. Yeah.
And you just felt like being watched. You really, really do. So while he was doing his video, I'm giving him the eye, like, and he's trying to hurry up. So the video, you could tell. And I
Wasn't
think
the
it's
best
on
quality.
YouTube on your channel.
It's on my channel, and you can tell it's.
I'll leave a
rushed
link
and-
at the end. At the end, you
Yeah.
can tell
Mm.
that I was being, I would say, nervously, overly nervously, not really overly nervously, excuse me. I was scared.
Now, when we got in the car and left, again, I had a convertible, and we were talking about ghosts and everything, and I jokingly, as I'm driving off, I go, "Bye, Clyde." And what did you hear? You remember that?
I don't remember the exact words, but it was like, bye, Kathy.
Yeah, it was like she heard a voice. Like a man's voice saying bye.
Like,
Something like that.
I was sitting in the seat, the convertible,
Yeah.
right here. I heard a man
Right.
say, and right away I'm thinking that it came from the woods. For a split second, I'm thinking, oh my God. Or see you later, he said. It was see you later.
Something like that.
It
Yeah, I
was.
forget. Yeah.
Or I'll see you later.
Yeah,
Don't.
we should have
We
written
should
it
have
down
written
when
it
he
down.
said you
But
heard
it
something.
was only about 2 or 3 words, but it was enough to make me say, someone just talked to my
Yeah.
ear. Let's
Right.
get out of here.
Right.
And we did.
And we went back into Gippsland and we went to the Bonnie and Clyde Ambush Museum.
Oh, this was a great story.
Yeah, and we met Boots Hinton, who is the son of Ted Hinton, who was one of the men in the ambush, one of the law,
Yeah.
or the laws, as
Can
they
you
call them back
imagine
then.
that? That the
Yeah.
man that was related to one of the
Ambushers.
ambushers was still alive,
Right,
and we could
yeah,
talk to him
yeah.
over like Bonnie and Clyde. That was
Yeah,
so cool. That was
he
so
was
cool.
he was in his late 70s. He passed shortly after that, but just this old Texas guy, and oh man, I banged his ear for like 2 hours. And the funny thing is that I remember of that is he's sitting there talking to us, and you saw he was packing a pistol,
He was,
and you were like,
I've never seen that before. You
Yeah.
know, I'm from Massachusetts. We are
Right.
born and raised,
Yeah.
and you don't see
They don't have
someone
open and
wearing
carry.
a gun on the side of their belt. And I was so nervous and shocked, and never been to the South before. Even he commented to us about that.
oh yeah, he made fun of us because we were from Massachusetts. He
He said something about the bridge.
Yeah, he's like, did you come over the Mississippi? And I said, yeah. He's like, well, did you show him your pink card?
Yeah.
And it took me a little while to compute what he was saying, like pinko commie. I think he was like saying, because we're from Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's known as
Nice
a very
man.
liberal
Nice man.
state. Yeah, but great guy. I had him autograph his father's book. His father wrote a book about it. I have that picture. Maybe we'll put that up. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a picture of Chris with
Yeah,
boots.
so that was a real exciting thing for me to do, and,
Absolutely.
and for us to do.
Yeah, you just, you know, when you go, you think of Bonnie and Clyde, and you've seen all the movies, which ain't correct, by the way, but that's another story.
Yeah, they're Hollywood eyes.
To meet someone that's still with us, that is the son of one of the, what'd you call them, a hitman? What are they? The guys that did the ambush.
The lawmen,
lawmen,
the men that
They were rangers, weren't they?
Right.
Like Texas Rangers?
they were Texas Rangers, and they were sheriffs from Bienville County, which is in Louisiana. Former Texas Rangers, I should say, and
Texas Rangers.
and they ambushed them. There's different stories as to whether
Yeah.
they called out to them before they opened fire or what, but that's a whole story in itself. I get into that in my lecture.
He does. And
Yeah.
it's a great story. Anyways,
So-
where did we go after that?
Then we headed to Dallas.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I planned this trip, I got the cheapest hotels I could possibly get, which
Wasn't a good idea.
no, we ended up some pretty shady places. So anyway, but
Yeah. Well, you know, we were doing a shady lecture, kind of. So.
yeah, we did the whole Dealey Plaza and all that, but we found a lot of places that had to do with Bonnie and Clyde. Like,
We did.
do you remember any specific ones?
The specific one, yes, definitely. Don't remember the name of the town, but it was the Calaboose story.
Oh, that was in Kemp, Texas. The Calaboose, Bonnie and a guy by the name of Ralph Faltz got caught with. Clyde escaped this one, but they got put in this little sweat box jail in the middle of Texas called a Calaboose.
I'll put up a picture.
Yeah, and should I tell the story?
Oh, absolutely. Tell the story.
All right.
You do a
So-
good job.
We're down there taking pictures of it, and this town is, if you can imagine it, it's like in deep Texas. You could tell the town at one time was pretty big, but now everything's boarded up, and it's like, a tumbleweed could go through at any time. But
Hold up. When I was in 7th grade, that was my nickname. Okay, continue.
okay, tumbleweed.
Hey. Okay.
So we're doing our thing there, and I see this car coming down the road. It's like in back of a building, and you can tell it was police because they had the big searchlight, and the windows are all.
And we were so nervous because
Yeah,
we
I'm
had
like, oh
Massachusetts
great,
plates. That's
now
what we were
got
thinking
a
in the South.
Massachusetts lights.
What are you doing here?
So, car comes up, the window comes down. It's a woman, and she points to the calaboose and she goes, "Isn't that cool?" And then we both relaxed. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're like, yeah, that's where they kept Bonnie. And she told us this story. She goes, I have a story my mama told me. She said they had Bonnie in there, and all the townspeople were lined up to come and take a look at her. And her mama's friend went up and stuck her face in the bars, face to face with Bonnie, and said, "Does your mama know where you are?"
It's not
And
something.
she said, and then she spit in her face.
What a story.
Yeah, Bonnie spit in the lady's face.
You know, this is the best part of making these presentations.
Right, yeah.
I mean, just the stories and the places that we go and the people that we meet. It's just as fabulous
It
as
brings
the
it to
story.
life. And I use that story in my talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than just giving the facts and
Right.
the dates and all that. We've got.
But
these
that
places.
calaboose story
Yeah.
is one of my favorite out of Kemp, Texas. Which you're right, it's got the tumbleweed look.
Yeah.
So what happened with Kemp? Didn't Bonnie get thrown in there with one of the guys?
Clyde got away on that one.
They got caught.
Right. And she got a slap on the wrist and they let her go, and she promised her mama that she wouldn't hang out with this Clyde ever again, and then she lied to her and she ended up with him again. So
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't know this, she was married to another man.
Yes.
She was never married to Clyde.
No.
And she, I guess, probably didn't have the money to get divorced, but she still had the wedding ring on, even when she was wearing a wedding ring when she got shot down with Clyde. So, yeah. And we went to a few spots in Dallas, like where Clyde grew up was the Barrow filling station.
That was another fabulous place to see.
Yeah.
The filling station where small place,
Yeah.
old-fashioned filling station that was still there that they grew up in. It's pretty amazing. There's pictures online of
Yeah.
them sitting in the house with their mom and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Small place. They lived in the back of the filling station. All these kids, they had to pull out. They call them pallets, like little like temporary beds for people to sleep in. And they sold gas out of there, and from what I can tell, they also sold, probably moonshine or something like that. But that was quite a place to see, and
It was. But
yeah.
that's not the spot that the dog came after you.
No,
it was.
That was
where they met.
The location where Bonnie and Clyde met.
It's not like in the movies.
No. It wasn't like, if you watch the one from the 60s with Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty, she's half naked in her bedroom getting dressed and he's trying to steal the car. Wasn't that exciting.
No.
They just met at a house party, and I found the address and I tracked it down, and it ended up being like a vacant lot at the end of a road. So I went out there, and I'm out there with my camera taking pictures.
I'm safely in the car.
She's in the car. I turn around, and there's a pit bull in back of me.
And he was growling.
Yeah, and I'm looking at her in the car, and I just slowly backed up and got in the car real quick.
And the thing about the location over there is everyone had a pit bull.
Yeah, it's like every yard is
had a pit bull in their
chain link
yard.
fence with pit bulls.
Yeah.
Since
Nothing against pit bulls. My grandpuppies are pit bulls. But
it's all in how you train.
when they're growling.
Right, yeah. But since then, I guess the area's pretty much gentrified. They've torn down.
Yes, that's
the filling
sad
station.
part. Yeah.
People wanted to.
Now, the story
keep
you
it
told
up,
me
but, yeah.
about the filling station was they were going to turn it into condominiums.
Yeah.
But we did the Google Earth.
Yeah, they were going to tear it down and make condominiums.
But they didn't. They put something else.
That fell through, and they ended up putting. The plans are to put a car wash.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Taking history like that and putting a car wash?
And a lot of people were trying to fight to preserve it, but then there's the other people that said, why should we memorialize this
Because
criminal?
we
Yeah.
learn from history,
Right, right.
and that mistake wouldn't happen again.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I think it's sad, but I can understand on that level what people were talking
I
about.
understand too, but
Yeah, we
history, like I said in other videos, is good and bad, and it's just
Right.
not all good. You can't
Right.
get rid of the bad and just keep the good.
yeah.
It don't work like that.
But in particular, I love going to places where
Me too.
people were. You can
Yep,
touch it.
absolutely.
Like when we went to Lincoln's house in
Yep.
Illinois, that was just great.
Yeah.
So there were some other sites that we went
Okay.
to. We went to Wichita Falls, which is
Wichita Falls. Oh, that
little-
was where they
yeah.
stayed in a bordello.
right. Yeah,
Right.
Wichita Falls is like on the edge of Oklahoma,
Now,
Texas.
when you were doing your research and I heard the name Wichita Falls, I'm
Yep.
like, oh, this must be such a pretty place. There must be some falls. I'm going to
No.
take some pictures. No, it wasn't.
It's a nice looking place. I'm not to knock Wichita Falls, but we found the
I'm
building
saying that
where
there wasn't
they
a
were.
waterfall.
I don't think there was a waterfall.
No.
No. Yeah. Maybe we're wrong. I don't know.
Oh,
We didn't
we'll
really
have to look that
investigate that too much. I don't know. But yeah, they were told by the authorities there, hey, as long as you don't commit any robberies in our town, you can live here. So that was the agreement they had. Not only Bonnie and Clyde, but all the other. It was known as a criminal hideout, and we found the actual building.
That was
Where they
pretty
stayed,
interesting.
that-
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, yeah.
It almost looks the same as the
It
photographs.
does. It looks pretty much the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another spot, we kind of tracked them out of Texas.
And we went into Oklahoma.
We went into Oklahoma
Was that
to
Springtown?
a place called Stringtown.
Oh, Stringtown.
yeah.
Stringtown. Not to go off the subject, but that's where Reba McEntire was
Right.
born and grew up.
Recently found that out.
Yes, we did. Now
We
you
didn't know that
Now
one,
you
yeah.
were saying about Springtown?
Well, the Barrow Gang or the men of the Barrow Gang ended up going up there, and they kind of crashed a hoedown. If you can imagine all these farmers dancing with their girlfriends
Yes.
and everything, and all of a sudden this shiny Ford V8 pulls up with these dudes all dressed in suits
nice and sharp.
from their ill-gotten gains, obviously. And one thing led to another, and there was a shootout, and
Yep.
2 police
Sadly,
officers got
some
shot.
people lost their lives.
Yeah, one was practically paralyzed, and another young guy was killed, and he had 2 children, a
small
wife.
children,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not all a shiny subject
No.
at all.
That reminds me of another. We went to all these spots where there's monuments all over Texas.
There is.
Grapevine, where they killed 2 other officers
Yes.
too, and one was due to be married the next week
And his wife went to the funeral in her wedding
in
gown.
her wedding gown. Right.
Gives me
right.
the chills. It's a
So
sad.
you learn the real story of Bonnie and Clyde when you're going to these places.
Not in the movie.
Yeah, it's not
Not the same.
romantic at all.
It isn't.
And when you study how they lived really hand to mouth, and they didn't rob big banks like the Dillinger gang. They were robbing, like the equivalent of 7-Elevens,
Right.
little general stores and groceries. And that's the thing about learning. You might get that interest from watching a movie, but then you get into the history, and sometimes I say the history's more
The history
interesting
is more interesting.
than the movie.
sometimes
it's like,
more
why don't
scary.
they keep it true? Don't make up this stuff. Like Frank Hamer, the lawman that led the posse
Right.
that killed them. In the movie, they had him being captured and treated badly, but he never
That never
even
happened.
met him to the day that he was in that ambush and took him down.
And the story is that the family
Sued the movie company.
the movie company for
Yeah.
portraying their father like
Right,
that because
yeah.
it wasn't true.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were down in Texas again, about this time last
Oh,
year.
yeah,
And we went to the Texas Ranger Museum, and they have a whole display on
Yeah.
Frank Hamer. That's the ranger that led the posse again.
Also, the prison museum
Oh,
we went to
right.
too, and they had a lot of
Right.
photos. They actually had
Right.
Bonnie's gun that she
Right,
tried
that
to
she
sneak in
smuggled in
to help
Clyde
Clyde
escape
escape.
once. Right.
That was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. That was in Hillsborough. That's where Clyde ended up in prison for a short time. That's part of the lecture too. But there's so many facets to the
There is
story.
so many. It goes all over the
Yeah.
place. Men coming in and out, gang members joining the Bonnie and Clyde gang, which wasn't called Bonnie and Clyde. It was called the Barrows gang.
Barrow Gang.
And
Right.
there was these guys coming and leaving, coming and leaving.
Yeah.
And to follow the lecture, he does an
It's-
excellent job.
I think it's confusing.
But you set it up
Yeah.
so people will understand. And if you ever see the lecture advertised, check it out.
Sometimes it's on Zoom.
On Zoom, yeah.
The thing is, the movie in the 1960s took all these characters that were in and out of the gang and just kind of condensed them into one character, which I guess was smart because it'd be too confusing to have all these guys.
I follow your lecture, and I'm not one
and I try to
follow.
explain
And
that.
exactly,
Yeah.
he does a really good job. But then you need to see it.
Right. So
where'd we go next? This is so exciting, reliving this.
well, I think I hit all the places. I didn't talk about the.
How about the man in the backyard that you were going to go take a picture of the porch, and I was like, don't go there.
Oh,
We're in the South.
that was the Kennedy lecture, but
Oh.
that's a good story in itself. If you've ever seen
I'm going
the
off
picture of Lee
subject here.
Harvey Oswald standing in his backyard with a magazine and a rifle, I found that location, but I had to sneak down the driveway and take a real quick shot.
I wasn't
over
happy
a
about
fence.
that, and I didn't want him to do it.
Yeah, she's
But
like,
he did.
This is Texas. People have shotguns. Don't do that. And I was afraid that I was probably somebody was going to see me or at least yell at me.
You got the picture,
Right,
and
I
you can
did.
see it in the JFK lecture.
Yeah. So I have that picture with the backyard as it appeared then, and it was pretty similar.
It was.
The staircase is still there. and the
Now,
fence and
wasn't
everything.
the house nearby where Bonnie lived with her mother?
Yeah. Her mother stayed in a little bungalow. I tracked all these obscure locations down. After she got out of jail for the calaboose thing, she was remanded to the custody of her mother, and she lived in this bungalow for a short time. And then that's when she left and hooked up with Clyde again, and that was Wichita Falls, which we talked about. And then there was another spot, I forgot about this, in Wellington, Texas, where the bridge had been removed and they drove into the river.
Yes.
Yeah, we went out there too.
Yes, that's right.
And
then they replaced it with another bridge.
right. This is when we got there was the third bridge. Now, Clyde went over the side of the river because the bridge that had the original bridge had been taken down, and they had were in the process of making the second bridge.
Right.
Well, the second bridge was closed off when we got there, and they were making a third bridge.
Third bridge.
So anyway, they ended up crashing into a river. Bonnie was seriously injured, burnt. Her leg was all burnt up. She was semi-paralyzed after that. Family came down and helped them, and for their trouble, they ended up at the point of their guns. And,
Now that house that was at the bridge that wasn't there, correct?
yeah,
It was
there are pictures of the
Right.
Pritchard family.
I mean,
think they
we
were.
went to the
Yeah.
location where this happened, but
Right.
the home where the people
Right,
helped
that's no
Bonnie and
longer
Clyde
there.
is no longer there.
I think that had been torn down several years before we got there. Just Stringtown too. That dance hall was gone.
It's
All that
gone.
was left was the parking lot where the shootout took place. So, but like I said, all these places have these little monuments.
Yeah, they do.
Explaining what happened.
Now, is that it for Texas? Didn't we go over
Texas?
to
Joplin,
Joplin,
Missouri.
Missouri.
We went into Joplin, Missouri.
We did.
We found
Chasing the trail of Bonnie and Clyde. And
right. It wasn't just through Texas. On the way home, we went through Missouri and some of these places where they were. There was a giant shootout in Joplin, Missouri. We found the place that they rented, And I
And
think two police
this
officers
bungalow,
got killed at that
it
one
looks
too.
exactly the same today as it did
Exactly
then.
the same. It's now, I guess it's a bed and breakfast. You
Can
can
you
rent it
imagine?
now. You can stay
Didn't we
there. There's
watch
bullet
that?
holes in the
Didn't we
place.
watch that? They're using the oh, how do I want to say this? They're using the fact that Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah,
was there
right. To sell
to
it, yeah.
to make it at the Airbnb.
Right.
Correct?
I'd go there.
That's kind of like staying at Lizzie Borden's house. I'm not going to
I
do
know
that.
it's like Lizzie Borden's house, yeah. Which that's a
Which
whole
she
other
has a
story.
presentation
That's
on,
a whole other.
and that's a whole
we'll
other
tell
story
that
we'll tell about
later.
another time. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep in the Lizzie Borden house. But let's go. Let's continue. And I won't
No.
sleep in the one in
Right.
Joplin either.
And two more officers were
Will
killed
you
at
sleep
that
in it?
one.
Leave us a comment below.
Yeah, there's bullet holes still there.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
It's
That
like
they.
when we went to Ma Bakker's house.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah,
another story too. We'll tell you that sometime.
We've been all over. Oh my
But
goodness.
I think that's it for
No, there was something else.
really
I can't recall.
with the
With Bonnie and Clyde.
Houston the bridge where the family lived.
No, it'll come to me.
No. Another
I don't
place,
remember.
another shootout place. Oh, Grapevine. We went to Grapevine.
We
I
did.
think I talked about that already.
Yeah, we did.
Where the two officers.
Yeah.
If you noticed, they killed. I think last count was like the 13 people.
Well, we found that general store.
Right.
Their first robbery, their first
Right.
murder.
Oh, yeah. That was Hillsboro, Texas.
Yeah.
And yeah, they robbed the storekeeper and killed him. And another
And
thing I
it
need to
wasn't a
mention,
lot of
though,
money
another thing
either.
I need to mention is that in the movies you see Bonnie going into banks with a gun and everything. And,
Right.
there's very little evidence that she had any part in any of these. She didn't really have any part in any of these robberies. The only evidence that I found that she ever picked up a gun was, I think, in Joplin. Some of the officers said they saw a woman shooting out the window
Well,
before they escaped.
how about when they got caught? How
Right.
about with the brother?
Right.
And we found the hotels where
Right.
they stayed in
Right.
when she was using all that change
Yeah.
to go buy food.
Right. Right. That was Blanche. That was Clyde's brother's wife that was doing all that. But
Right.
yeah, that was in Platte City, Missouri.
But didn't they get?
That doesn't
Didn't
exist
he-
anymore.
Didn't he
either.
get shot in the field? They stay out in the back. That used to be a fairgrounds or something.
Oh, that was in Iowa. Yeah. That's another one. That was another shootout too. That's where the brother got shot at Platte City, Missouri, and then they drove to Iowa, and then they were ambushed by a posse out there. Buck, Clyde's brother, and Blanche, his wife, got captured at that one, and then months later, Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed down in Gippsland.
Mm-hmm.
So
And they passed away.
Yeah, that
Obviously.
something like
So
100
during the
rounds to
shootout,
that. 100 rounds. Yeah.
The reason they say they did that is because he must have died instantly, both of them obviously,
Right.
and so the car kept moving,
Right.
and they didn't want to escape again.
Because he had several times, he had like the slippery
Mm-hmm.
way of getting through. I just talked about all these shootouts. They got away.
Well, that's why they kept shooting, because
Right.
they're like, you're not getting away
Yeah.
this time.
His foot slipped off the clutch,
Right,
and
and
the
the
car
car
kept
just kept
moving,
moving.
so they just kept
Shooting.
pumping rounds into that car.
Right.
And I've always thought, I wonder if you went out there with a metal detector.
Could
Because
you imagine? Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Something?
what?
I'm not going back there.
You don't want to go back there?
No,
Oh.
no. So what about their resting places?
Oh, well, we found out where they were both buried.
Right.
Clyde is buried on one side of the city and Bonnie at the other side of the city. And unlike their wishes were to be buried together, but the mother, Bonnie's mother, wouldn't have
No.
anything to do with it.
No. Understandably.
And the families today want to put them together. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
We won't get into that. But we got down to Western Heights Cemetery where Clyde and his brother Buck and
Yeah.
the Barrows are buried in. Online, I read this is a kind of shady part of town. Watch out. And,
Yeah, be safe. Lock your doors. Don't leave anything valuable in your car.
Right. So we parked around the corner where we walked up, and the gates are locked.
The gates locked, and it's like no trespassing.
Right.
And I was like, I did not come all the way to Texas not to see Clyde's grave.
And I'm like Mr. Goody Goody, and I was like, well, it's locked. We can't get in there.
So it had a chain around it, and I pulled the gate, and I crawled in, and
Yeah.
I went to his grave.
Yeah, she's like Bonnie.
No, no,
She
no, no.
broke into the cemetery.
I broke into the cemetery.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Bonnie came through.
Right. Yeah, the spirit of Bonnie came through. So we got into the cemetery. We were able to photograph the graves. But,
Yes.
I wouldn't have gone in if I didn't have my bandito
Yes,
here.
yes, and
my breaking
luckily,
and entering. I hope this isn't going to be used.
while I
against
was
us.
breaking in, he was photographing it because he could say nobody's going to believe this. And I didn't know he took a picture of me,
I got a
but we
picture
are
of you
so happy that he did because it looks
breaking
great
in.
in that
Yeah.
in his presentation.
That's how I end the lecture, with her breaking in the cemetery.
into the cemetery.
Yeah.
So we did
People
go
love it.
over. There was little trinkets on his grave and
Yeah.
little whiskey,
Yeah,
you
people
know,
leave
nips.
like little things.
Yeah, and
nips
flowers, and then we went
Yeah.
over to Bonnie
Bonnie's
Parker's,
Cemetery.
and hers was so much easier. We didn't
Right.
have to break into that one.
No, it's open. She's got. They both have. They don't have standing headstones there in the ground. And same thing with hers. There were little trinkets that people leave. You know, I think there was like a little flower and a little
Yeah, there was
little
an
apple,
there
or
was
something.
nips
There was
there,
like
too.
a ceramic apple
Yeah,
there or something.
and someone left a cigarette
Yeah.
because of her with her
Right.
cigar
and,
picture.
Right.
But she
right.
didn't like because she didn't smoke. She was just
Yeah.
posing with the gun.
If you Google that online,
Yeah, she wasn't a smoker.
at the Joplin shootout, they had to leave everything, and they found these cameras with film.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the pictures that you see online and that I use in my lecture are those confiscated pictures, and one of them is her
Yeah.
posing with
It's
a
a great
cigar
photograph.
and a pistol. Or, you
We
know.
actually tried to recreate it in New Hampshire
Yeah.
on Zealand.
Oh,
You
yeah.
remember? You don't remember?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh, yeah.
remember.
I remember now. Yeah.
I had a Hummer at the time, you know, like the
Do
cigar.
you think you can dig that picture up?
Heck no, I don't like it. It was a silly thing to do, but
Yeah.
a fun memory.
Right.
Hmm.
But that is just one of our adventures.
That's just one.
We've
We have a lot. If you're
done
interested,
so many
you can
things. Yeah.
click like and subscribe and follow us
Right.
along if it's your first time here. And if you're
Right.
following us now and one of our subscribers, thank you.
We're still making adventures,
Yeah.
but part of it we're going to be talking about stuff that we've already done.
Yeah. And it's a great story, right? Now that I bet you all want to go watch the Bonnie and Clyde movie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again with some more great stories. We have a whole list of
Right.
haunted history of New England. He just put together a presentation, haunted history of
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh,
Oh,
what-
not Florida,
no,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Haunted history of South.
Oh, the haunted history of the South,
Of the
haunted
South.
history of Florida. But are we just going to do stuff that has to do with my lectures? Because we've done, like, the time we almost got stuck on a mountain.
And we went and hiked the Franconia Ridge, if you're
Yeah.
familiar with that. It's in New Hampshire.
That's one of my favorite stories.
We won't get into that right now,
Yeah.
but it was something I wanted to do for my birthday, and we didn't know that it was the weekend for the memorial of 9/11, and it was a conga line of hikers, and it was our first time going on the Franconia Ridge,
yeah.
which is a 12-mile hike. 12-mile, not straightforward. It's 12 miles
Vertical. Yeah.
vertical. Anyways,
So
we won't
that's
get into
another
that.
story. Maybe we'll bring that and tell that story.
Yeah, that's a story.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
It's a story.
It wasn't fun when it happened.
Not at all. But then again, you know, it's all fun.
It's an adventure.
Anyways, thank you again for watching, and come again. Bye.